I think social media makes it easier for more people to participate in the political process, and I think that's fantastic. I think it also makes it more possible for people to be a little bit more politically educated. But the other side to that is that there's so much information out there, it's sometimes very hard to sort of distill what you really need, or to be able to have as nuanced of an understanding of an issue as those of us who teach, interlocking systems of oppression would want people to know. Creating two sides, creating for and against, is something that we sort of continuously see. It's a really easy way for those in power to disempower the people who are trying to get equality, rights, social justice movements forward. The other concern I have is the pitting of certain communities as being inherently anti-equality. So we hear a lot in the news, particularly after what happened in California, characterizing the African American community as being largely homophobic. And that's just simply not true. All the research indicates that Proposition 8 was passed not by the African American vote, but by the white fundamentalist vote. There is no indication, certainly if you look at the number of delegates in the Maryland General Assembly and the number of senators in the Maryland General Assembly who supported marriage equality, it doesn't fall on race lines. And yet that's something that you continuously hear. And that's deeply concerning to me as someone who's committed to anti-racist work and committed to LGBT equality, that our communities come together very well and work together very well on issues that matter to all of us. We all care about racism. We all care about poverty. We all care about police brutality. We all care about equality. And so those sort of creating these sides that don't really exist is something that I'm very concerned about, and I really want to see and hope to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing Maryland be different. That as we move forward into working on this issue in the future, that we really show that we're not divided by race and we're not divided by class, that we are a movement of everyone, and that equality matters for everyone. And so I've testified in committee because I was public. My kids definitely caught some flack. I saw your mom's on TV, things like that. That were really good opportunities for our family to come together and talk about what it was that we were doing and why we were doing it. And I think both of my sons have been extraordinarily well educated about why we came out into the public and why we put our family out there and what that point was and what we wanted everyone in our family to be able to get out of that. And I think it's really made them really strong boys, too. So, my 12-year-old won't hear a homophobic remark. He'll say something back. And I think for a 12-year-old to do that, that's pretty outstanding. So I'm proud of him. I really believe that whatever level people can take to be a full participant in their lives and their rights is wonderful. So if it meant clicking that link to send an email to your delegate or senator, that's one more check mark they had to put on for or against. That's just important to me as driving 25 minutes down the road to Annapolis to actually having a face-to-face meeting and having a conversation. And it means just as much as if for you to drive another 20 minutes the other direction to have a conversation with your aunt. I heard a story about a delegate who was not sure where they were going to stand on the vote on the floor and actually got taken to task by a dentist. Said, you know what, I don't know why you would vote no on this. Just the delegates, I never thought it would mean anything to my heterosexually married dentist. But, that was the person who actually convinced that delegate to vote for it. So conversations happen everywhere. Every spring, I bring students down to Annapolis for Lobby Day, and we walk around and we talk to either my delegates and my senator or to theirs. And the students always walk away from that experience realizing it's just really easy. You just show up and you say what you think, and they talk back to you, and they're real people, and they have thoughts and feelings, and they're not scary and they're not ununderstandable. And I think that really dispels a lot of the sort of, I can't possibly engage in a political conversation. I wouldn't know how to do that. It's really just simply just showing up and saying how you feel. We have more out legislators in the state of Maryland than any other state in the United States. And we're small. That means that the will of the people is that they want smart LGBT people to represent them, who also make great decisions in other committees for the state. So through all that tireless work, there was an incredible amount of momentum forward. Part of that was a result of the election, so that's really significant, and that really changed, in many ways, changed committee structures to get these bills have never left committee before. So to leave the committee in the Senate and to leave the Judiciary Committee in the House and actually make it to the floor in both, that's just an incredible trajectory from where we were before. What I think is really wonderful about how far we got is so we know where those conversations need to happen and who we need to keep talking to. So I don't necessarily see it as a disappointment, but as a blueprint for next year and the year after and however long it takes. So we'll get there.